All right, everybody, welcome back to my YouTube channel. This is the Jordan Report, and I am your host, Robert Jordan. Everyone, please remember to like, subscribe, and share. All right, we're going to go over the latest trip Trump made back out to California, talking about San Francisco and its homelessness and its large trash and filth problem that they're having out there. He's threatening them with the E.P.A. And I got a couple of articles I'm going to show you and a short clip of Dr. Ben going to downtown Skid Row. He wants to see it for himself. It's a very short clip. It's going to be a short video, and I'm going to go through this really fast. Trump reveals that San Francisco is guilty of environmental violations due to rampant homelessness. President Trump has indicated that he plans to take action against San Francisco, California, for allowing rampant homelessness and filth it brings to destroy a once great American city, making it unfit and unsafe for residents and visitors alike. San Francisco has been losing a lot of convention money. People don't even want to go there. A lot of people used to have their conventions in San Francisco. They canceled them because of the filth and drugs that they have to walk through to get to their venues. Speaking with reporters while on Air Force One as he traveled back to the White House from California, Trump explained that not only is rampant homelessness in places like California and Los Angeles making these large metropolises unlivable, it's also destroying the environment. It's a terrible situation at Los Angeles and in San Francisco, the president is quoted as saying. And we're going to be giving San Francisco, they're in total violation. We're going to be giving them a notice very soon. What Trump is referring to here by notice is an environmental violation that cites things like San Francisco's infamous poop problem. These people got a map of where all the crap, literal human crap, is on the streets. They hand out maps down there so you can avoid it. As making conditions in the city unsanitary and thus unsafe for people, animals, and the natural environment. They have to clean it up, Trump added, pointing to things like heroin needles flowing down the streets and into storm drains. We can't have our cities going to hell. They're already in hell, Trump. For more news about how many leftist cities across the country are becoming biohazard disaster zones, be sure to check out Collapse News. Trump calls on E.P.A. to issue serious violation notices to leftist California cities like San Francisco. President Trump has been in California attending numerous fundraisers when he made observations about the sad and sorry state places like San Francisco, which have become certifiable biohazard zones under leftist leadership. Homelessness is so out of control in many areas of California that local residents can't even live in peace anymore. Nor can they safely go out in public without having to worry about stepping in feces or pricking their feet on a drug needle. In the case of Los Angeles, it's a disaster. I'm getting ready to show you a clip of Dr. Ben in this disaster zone. If you look at San Francisco, it's a total disaster, Trump went on to a state during a press conference. We're going to get involved very soon on a federal basis if they don't clean up their act. They won't, Trump. You're going to have to get involved. If any of these cities fail to fix the problem on their own, Trump plans to send in the E.P.A. to kick butt and take names, should it come to that. The homeless problem is also destroying places like Seattle, Washington, which continues to have problems with poop on the streets, running into Puget Sound and causing pollution outbreaks that put public health at risk. I don't think that's just the liberal enclaves that have homeless problems. Many areas of the country, both blue and red, are seeing homelessness spike due to skyrocketing housing prices and various other factors. There's perhaps no place worse than San Francisco in this regard, as housing prices are now so high that one Uber driver working 60 hours per week says he's still homeless because he can't find a place anywhere in the area that's affordable enough for him to live. California government makes building new homes costly, difficult, and rare. Commenter in response to the situation. Rents soar in value and price. The result, homelessness. Waves of squat and drop on the sidewalk homelessness. The cure for California? Ugly, poor, poorly built Soviet-style housing for these homeless peeps who will be forced into them by fecal cleanup police, the same commenter added. The public health service will bust a kid's lemonade stand but won't do a thing about out-of-control homelessness in these cities, which are a huge threat to public health noted another commenter, making a really good point about how the government priorities are completely out of whack. That's California, okay? Now let me show you Ben. He was down there. He took a trip to Skid Row. I also showed you a trip of Maxine Waters going down there. You might want to find that video. But here's Dr. Ben visiting Skid Row.
Getting national attention today, a one-on-one with Ben Carson as President Trump's housing chief talks about the homeless crisis gripping our city. Good evening, everyone. I'm Colleen Williams.
And I'm Robert Kovacik in for Chuck Henry. NBC4's John Kenny's Klimak is live in downtown L.A., where Secretary Carson got candid about L.A.'s homeless crisis. John.
Yeah, the whole purpose of this series is to get answers for you. And today we've reached the top of the federal government, the head of housing, who says what's happening in L.A. is not only a shame, but a disaster. Mr. Secretary, John Kenny's Klimak, thank you so much for reaching out to us to do this.
No,
it's a major issue right now.
It's a huge issue.
HUD Secretary Dr. Ben Carson and his staff reached out to NBC4, aware of our Streets of Shame series and the pressure on politicians to fix the homeless crisis in Los Angeles. You've seen some of the worst already. Today, the Secretary of Housing and Urban Development met with us on LA's Main Street, where homeless encampments line the 101 overpass in the shadow of LA's City Hall. Dr. Carson says it'll take more than government to come to the rescue.
Federal government is there to help and to facilitate, but the most successful jurisdictions are the ones where the local government and the people get together and decide this is how we want our area to look. This is how we want it to function.
More than 36,000 people live on the streets of LA, nearly 60,000 countywide. Southern California is the undisputed mecca of the homeless crisis. The mayor of Los Angeles and the governor of the state of California have asked for more money, more vouchers from your office.
Right.
Can that happen?
It can happen, but we would very much like for them to, first of all, use what they have efficiently. Only 65% of the HUD VASH vouchers are used, and not all of the housing choice vouchers are utilized.
The mayor's office says that's not entirely accurate. In a statement late this afternoon, a spokesman says LA is, quote, using every Section 8 dollar the feds give us and some additional reserves. Unfortunately, because rents are high.
32%, you guys, of the HUD housing in Los Angeles County are being occupied by illegal aliens. That's what he's talking about.
Higher here, we have to spend more money per voucher, so we're only able to afford 90% of the vouchers allowed through the program. Secretary Carson says he believes the crisis can be solved, but not the way local and state leaders are doing it in California.
The answer to all problems is not throwing more money at it. It's really coming to a realization of what is causing the problem. Why is it that, California has half of the nation's unsheltered homeless people? There's got to be a little bit more going on than just a need for money, and we need to be willing to admit that.
Secretary Carson says there are some successes here in Los Angeles, but he says that those are coming from the nonprofits and the private sector, not so much from local government. Coming up at 6, we're going to hear a little bit more from him, what he says is working here in L.A. and what he says needs improvement. Reporting live at City Hall, I'm John Kenny, Klimak, NBC4 News.
All right, now I'm going to show you this last article here, people. I'm going to show you this last article of what California is doing with their money. Okay, this is what Dr. Carson is talking about. California is bearing an enormous physical burden resulting from playing host to a massive illegal population estimated to be consists of almost 3 million foreign nationals. The annual expenditure of state and local tax dollars on services for that population and their children is $23 billion. This is an old article, people. It's up to $30 billion now. That total amounts to a yearly burden of about $1,800 for each legally present California household. So every year, the people who are legal Californians are paying $2,000 to host these illegal aliens in their country. $7 billion, $7.5 billion on medical, welfare, and other benefits. $8 billion to educate their children. $3 billion for the justice system. And about $5 billion on the general government. That's where the money's going, and this is what they're talking about. Now, they have also a problem with, Dr. Carson and Trump is also having a problem with, what are they doing with the federal money? The federal money is not supposed to be going to illegal aliens. So they get so much federal money every year but they have this rampant homeless problem. And so this is the big problem that's going on in California. I just want to show this to you, what's going on, to keep everybody abreast of what's happening. I'll be staying abreast on California on this channel. So right now, that'll be it for this story, and see you next time.